All right, so he's on probation for arson. He's accused of shooting a baby at 11 years old. And then we bring him back in. He's been on the run, and he's smoking weed.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything else I'm missing about him?
Nope, that's about it, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Moore. Hey, look what I found. Right? I know 11-year-olds are supposed to have guns, right? After they've been accused of shooting a baby.
In hoods across America, kids as young as 12 years old are jumping off the porch and getting into beef with full-grown men. These kids may seem young and immature, but they're willing to put in work and make people take them seriously. The subject of today's video is no different. The subject of today's video is a teenage Crip rapper that's lived a crazy life at a young age and went viral all across the internet after being charged with shooting a 1-year-old baby when he was just 12 years old. The subject of today's video is none other than Lil Rodneyy, and today we're going to be telling his story. But before we get into the video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Lil Rodneyy, who also goes by the nickname 30 Shots, is from Fort Worth, Texas. Fort Worth doesn't get that much notoriety, but the gang violence in that city is deep and it's full of Bloods and Crips. Rodneyy is from the east side of the city, more specifically the area known as Stop 6, and is a Crip. He's a part of a set called Ape Gang. Ape Gang consists of both Bloods and Crips. In Fort Worth, the beef is mostly based on your set and not your bigger gang affiliation. Ape Gang's biggest ops are a set called YTN Murder Gang, and they're from the south side. Most of the people in Murder Gang are Crips. Lil Rodneyy had a turbulent upbringing growing up. His mother had him when she was just 16 years old, and his father abandoned them. Rodney's mother got incarcerated a couple times while he was a toddler, and his brother got incarcerated as well. His grandfather was the main male role model he had in his life, and he was raised by a single mother. His mother was always supportive of him and made sure to spoil him. Lil Rodneyy jumped into the streets at a super young age. At just 12 years old, he was already toting Glocks and high-powered assault rifles. Eventually, Rodneyy would find himself dealing with legal trouble and beef throughout the city. Despite his young age, Lil Rodneyy is involved in heavy beef throughout the city. As I mentioned earlier, Lil Rodneyy is from the east side of the city, and a majority of the rappers from the east side were once cool with each other. That all changed once a rapper from the east side by the name of Channel 5 Jdub snatched the chain of another east side rapper by the name of Lil CJ Casino. This incident drove a rift between the whole east side. Prior to the drama between Jdub and CJ Casino, Lil Rodneyy would start beefing with another east side rapper by the name of NCG Kenny B. Their beef would lead to Kenny B pressing Lil Rodneyy in the middle of the mall. Kenny B was 21 at the time, and Lil Rodneyy was only 12.
Lil Rodneyy, he just be talking. Y'all look, y'all want me to give him a wedgie or not? On God, I'll give him a wedgie right now on Jesus. I won't. Look, he finna run. On God. Walking with the baby savage, bro. Baby savage. You looking for me and PMG, ain't it? Come back. Why you come back? Why you come back? Why you come back? I'm your daddy. I'm your daddy.
Another rapper in the city that Lil Rodneyy has beef with is PMG God. PMG God and Lil Rodneyy would go back and forth dissing each other on social media. One day, PMG God would post a video of himself sitting in a car with Lil Rodney's mom, and he would then go on to claim that he smashed her in a song.
Tell Lil Rodneyy cook Kevin, I'm fucking his mama. Hit the bitch back in the car when I called.
In a later interview, Rodneyy would claim that PMG God was lying, and the only reason he was around his mom is because he was friends with Lil Rodney's mom's boyfriend at the time. In 2019, Lil Rodneyy was arrested and charged with shooting a 1-year-old baby. This crazy charge would cause him to go viral and be demonized online. However, notable Fort Worth online personality Charleston White and other people close to Lil Rodneyy claimed that he wasn't actually the one that shot the baby. They believe that people affiliated with Lil Rodneyy were sliding on ops and accidentally shot the baby. It's rumored that Lil Rodneyy just took the charge for them and refused to snitch.
A kid was shot.
Your 1-year-old baby was shot.
Okay, and survived.
Yeah, survived.
And he was in the area.
He was in the apartment, yeah.
Okay, and he got sentenced for that because he didn't talk?
He didn't talk, the little stayed down.
Oh.
I was the first one publicly to say that kid didn't do that shooting, homie.
Despite people as well known as Charleston White claiming this theory in interviews, it has never been officially confirmed. Regardless, Rodney would get locked up for this, and while he was locked up, he would suffer a tragic loss. One of the most well-known rappers in Fort Worth, Texas, was a man by the name of Channel 5 Jdub, real name Javian Calvin. Jdub was rising in popularity and was ringing bells throughout the city with all of the diss records he was putting out. As I mentioned earlier in the vid, Jdub caused a rift in the city by snatching another rapper's chain, so it was well known that he was wild in the streets. Ultimately, Jdub's wild behavior would lead to a sad ending. On February 24, 2020, Jdub was found in the front yard of a home on the city's southeast side at around 6:30 a.m. with a gunshot wound to the head. He would tragically be pronounced dead at the scene at just 17 years old. The crazy thing about it is that Jdub's own friend would be charged with his murder. It is believed that Jdub and other members of his crew were shooting up a house when one of his accomplices by the name of David Garcia accidentally shot him in the head. While in jail, Lil Rodneyy would learn about Jdub's death, and this would devastate him. In an interview, Rodneyy stated that he didn't leave his cell for 2 whole days after he heard the news. Eventually, Lil Rodneyy would be let out on house arrest while he waited for his trial. He was placed on an ankle monitor and was unable to leave the house without special permission. Eventually, the day of Jdub's funeral would come up. Jdub and Rodneyy had a close relationship, so Rodneyy was desperate to go. Officers would deny Rodneyy permission to attend the funeral, so Rodneyy would cut his ankle monitor off and go on the run so he could attend. While on the run, Rodneyy would post videos of himself toting guns online, and he would diss the judge. Eventually, Rodneyy would get locked back up and have a hearing with the judge. During the hearing, the judge went off on him and the clip went viral.
Just that I'm tired of, like, every time you come in here, you cry. You know that, right? Like, every single time you come in here, you cried. And every single time you beg me for one more chance, because you swear to God, on my mama's name, I'm not going to cut off the monitor. I'm not going to run off, like, every single time.
Ultimately, Rodneyy would be sentenced to 7 years in juvenile prison for the shooting that injured the 1-year-old baby. Rodneyy was 12 years old at the time of his sentencing, so he wouldn't have been released until he was 19 years old. After protests, Rodney's sentence was reduced to just 2 years. After serving the 2 years in prison, Rodneyy would be released, but would then be arrested once again for violating the terms of his release by going on Instagram Live. One of the terms of his release was that he was not allowed on social media. Due to this violation, Rodneyy would have to serve an extra year in prison, but he has recently been released in the past month. Lil Rodneyy is currently free and is trying to take his rap career seriously and become the next rapper to blow up from his city. It's crazy to see someone so young have such a crazy upbringing and already have lived such a wild life at such a young age. Let me know what you guys think about this situation in the comment section, and please be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.